Today I'm trying something I've never tried yet. I'm going to combine Moneyball and attributes. To do this we're going to London, the Premier League and Fulham. So this will give us a unique insight because we're going to be able to judge players on their attributes but also how they perform using data. Will the two combine to create a monster team or will it just not level out? So this will be an interesting journey. Here we are with Fulham. Now Fulham are owned by the Khan family. It's got Tony Khan registered as the director of football, and that's interesting because he actually owns an analytics company that covers a wide range of sports. So he's going to love what we're doing here. So if you do see this Tony Khan, I am available for a real life job. So here is the Fulham squad. We are using an updated database that you may have seen a couple of videos ago. So this is as up to date as it gets, and it's quite a small squad. Now the difference is we aren't used to seeing this in recent videos, but we can actually see attributes. So from day one we can make a decent guide on what players to choose for our tactic. But we will be jumping in between both skins. So I will jump to the Musterman skin. And just like that, at the end of the season, we'll be able to analyse our players' performance and, more importantly, players that we might potentially sign. So in theory, we should have all the tools we'll possibly need to build an extraordinary team. Having said that, season 1 will be based on what I've got here and the attributes of the players. So what I won't be doing is bringing anybody in for season 1. However, I do plan to build my scouting team and start to shortlist players that have caught my eye that we can judge at the end of the season. Speaking of the staff, we don't have any. We've only got 2 out of 7 coaches and we've only got 3 out of 10 scouts. So we need to build that up as well. When I started to think about the tactic, I had a look at the club vision first, and the Khan family want me to play attacking football with possession-based football as well. So I started thinking about my tactic. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a ball-playing goalkeeper to dish the ball out. I definitely wanted a couple of attacking fullbacks. They're going to be vital because they're going to have to do a bit of overlapping. Now, in central defence, they're going to have a couple of ball-playing defenders. And in front of them, I want an anchor man, so I don't want him to drift too far forward. I kind of want him to hold his position in front of those 2 centre-backs. Midfield, this is where the creativity that the Khans asked for is going to come in. Probably going to go double Mazzala so they can get forward and drift wide. The 2 wide positions are going to be slightly different. This side's going to have an inside forward, so I basically want him to play as a wide striker, backing up the main striker, so he's going to spend most of his time in there. On the other side, combo of winger and cutting inside, so inverted winger, so he can combine with the left fullback. And up front, I'm going to choose a pressing forward to put pressure on the entire back line. So we've got ourselves a 4-3-3, but hopefully it's attacking enough for the Khans. So in FM, I translated it into this setup here. The 2 midfielders will be Mazzalas that will just drift around a little bit. Inverted winger on one side, so he can act as a winger sometimes, but also cutting in. Inside forward, who basically play like a wide striker in there. Attacking mentality, because that's what the board want. I do have another version which is a back 5 like that with a libero who will step forward, so I'm toying with that one, but let's play it safe first, go with a creative looking 4-3-3. So the Premier League, it's all updated there. You can see Sunderland and Burnley and Leeds, and that leaves us as a season preview of 12th. So down in 12th, just under mid-table for our first season. Bear in mind we're not bringing in any players, so that might not be the worst result if we do hit that. As we got to the start of the season, I'd started bulking my staff out. I've got a couple more coaches to get and quite a few more scouts, but we have started to make progress. This has meant with world knowledge we are getting there now, but there's still some areas I'd like to complete so we can really drill down into these recruitment focuses. But I have started to build a small shortlist. It will get bigger as the season goes on, but I'll be interested to see how these players look come the end of the season when we change that skin. The season started well with a comprehensive victory over Newcastle. We only had 1 shot. And a loss to Aston Villa, but we really should have got something from that. But things really started to tick in our next match away at Burnley, and this team shape was pretty much what I was looking for. When I pause it there, you can see that's the right wing back flying forward. And here, Reed is the anchor man. Number 11, close to the striker, is Adama, so that's what I'm looking for, a really wide striker. Fullback gets nice and high. He's going to be backed up shortly by one of the Mazzalas. Here he comes. Now the other Mazzala has got himself into the box, which is what I want. He's backing up the striker. Adama finds Pereira, the Mazzala, and he finds his Mazzala mate Iwobi. Lovely stuff. The match finishes 5-0 against newly promoted Burnley, and we absolutely battered them. In fact, that was a theme as we won a string of matches in a row. We've only just started to lose a couple of games now. And quite surprisingly, at the midway point of the season, my God, we're sitting second. We've lost 5 matches, but we just don't draw any games. So Tony Khan, being an American, will love that. They don't deal in draws. It's win or bust. So far, it's been a bit of a team effort with no one really standing out. Our top scorer and best player so far has been Andreas Pereira, playing in midfield as a Mazzala. In fact, let's take a look at his performance. As we flip to the Musterman skin, we can see his attacking midfield performance has been pretty much perfect. It backs up his goals and assists tally. His expected assists are fantastic, he's getting goals, he's getting shots away, he's even putting a decent shift in defensive aspects like possession won, and he's won 82% of his tackles. Looking at this skin, it might help me build up my shortlist for the new season to see what areas we could potentially improve, because despite our good overall performance, I think there is areas that some players can improve. For example, although my centre backs are both good on the ball, we're not exactly winning many headers, so a physical team who go for crosses might cause us some problems. So it is midway through the season, so I thought I'd have a little look at some of the shortlisted targets to see how they're progressing. Now, Bafode Diakite could be an option at centre back, although he is also not winning many headers. However, his overall performance is pretty fantastic. Joey Veerman at PSV, whether he's playing as a defensive midfielder or an attacking midfielder, looking pretty good. And so far, the Khan family are rightfully delighted with the way things are going. So things are quite obviously way ahead of schedule. We've got ourselves a good tactic and a good first 11. The squad is paper thin though. It'll be interesting to see if we can keep this going till the end of the season. Or will the team and my master plan fall off a cliff? Right, second half of the season, we got all the way to the FA Cup semi-final versus Southampton and disappointingly lost. What a great opportunity. But there were still some great performances, including a late win away at Manchester City. And remember, we made no signings, so we did drop off a bit because our squad's pretty small. Arsenal beat us on the last day of the season. In fact, they stole it. And that ended up costing us a Champions League spot as we finished 5th in the table, but I'm still delighted with that. And importantly, so are the Khans. And to be fair, they've upped the transfer budget. It currently sits at 84 million. I hope it holds for the next season. Because although the season was impressive, I do need a bigger squad, especially with Europe in mind. There's obviously no way I'm changing the tactic because it seemed perfectly fit for the Fulham squad. But now it's time to see who actually played well and who was a bit of a passenger. So most of the season, that was my first choice 11. I mean, if you look at the bench, I can't even fill it. I've got 9 on the bench, 11 overall in the team. So 20-man squad is pretty tight for a full season. I'll start up front. Raul Jimenez did pretty well. He scored 20 goals for us in 43 matches. So his performance overall is pretty good. But at 33 years old, I will be looking for a younger striker because the pressing forward position's pretty tough. On the left-hand side, Smith Rowe did pretty well. I'd like more from an attacking output, but he did put a lot of pressure on opposition fullbacks, so not bad. On the other side was Harry Wilson. He's probably not a natural inside forward, more of a winger, so that might be a position we can look to improve. Because if he's playing as a wide striker, I need more than 7 goals in 45 appearances. My central midfield two were pretty good. Alex Iwobi on the left-hand side of central midfield with 10 goals. And considering he's playing as an attacking midfielder, it's really good possession loss. He's not giving the ball away much. He's winning it back decent. Tackles one's quite low though, and we could probably do with more assists coming in. Next to him, however, Pereira, really good. 13 goals, 12 assists, so 25 goal involvements in 41 matches, and his overall pie chart is really good. He's even putting pressure on opposition. So far I've freed up 3 places. Those 3 players will still be an option, but they're more likely to be on the bench next season. In defensive midfield, I rotated 2 players. The first was Harrison Reed. He's progressing the ball pretty decent and not giving it away. He's not winning the ball back, but you've got to remember he's an anchor man, so he's just kind of sitting and not really applying pressure. The other man to play there was Sander Berge, and he played slightly better. He's given me a more complete defensive midfield performance, so he'll probably start next season. Now my fullbacks, they're vital to this team because they're supplying most of the width, and no surprise, overall they're 2 of my better players, although I need more assists from the left back Anthony Robinson. But defensively superb, winning the ball back and 82% tackles won. I just want more assists, and we are getting that from the right hand side through Kenny Tete. He's got 10 assists, so he's doing better going forward. That might be due to the roles in front of them. We've got an inside forward here, so Tete basically plays right down the right hand side, whereas Robinson, sometimes he'll just stick there because in front of him, Smith Rowe can still act like a winger and stay wide. My centre-backs are an interesting case. They're good on the ball. I am asking them to bring the ball out, so the dribbles are good. They're passing it well. Passes completed is fine. But that headers won might be a bit of a concern. If one of them was winning more headers, it wouldn't be, but they're both around the same level, so I might need a dominating centre-back to play with one of them. At the minute, I will keep that back 4 in place. I'm just going to have a look to see if there's any options that may improve it. Goalkeeper Bernd Leno, I've got no complaints. He was really good, only conceding 32 with 26 clean sheets in 46 matches, and he's preventing goals as well. So really, I'm looking for 3 starters definitely, and maybe a 4th in defence, but we don't have to do a load of work, because remember, we did finish 5th in the league table above teams such as Spurs, Arsenal, Newcastle and Manchester United, and we have broke our Premier League record to finish 5th in the table. Previously it was 7th. And now I've gone to work on bulking out that scouting team because I want the best choice of players we can get. I want the whole world covered as best I can, including Scandinavia. In fact, as many different places as we can get. I mean, season 1, that's a great season with Fulham, way above expectations. I'm excited now to see, knowing that we've got a good base squad, what type of players we can bring in using the Musterman skin, focusing on data, combining with attributes to try and get ourselves a Champions League squad. That's the goal. Okay, the first thing I wanted to get sorted was my scout team. I've now got 10 out of 10 scouts, so a full scouting team. And more importantly, they are from all over the place. So the theory is now I've got a scout team from all over the place that will have a good knowledge of various nations. What that has allowed me to do is set up recruitment focuses for pretty much everywhere. I've got Italy specific, Austria, North America, Brazil, East Europe, a couple of African nations because that's where the scouts specialise, Colombia there. Then we've got the more obvious ones like our league, the league below, and some big nations in Europe. I've only just set these up, but some of them are throwing players up already, like the North American search and Austria, whereas some will take a little bit longer, such as the African one, but we'll keep a track of that progress. But it has allowed me to increase my shortlist now, ready to go for this pre-season squad build. And there is some players already on the way, and I've made a move for another. First up, new striker in Fostis Ioannidis from Panathinaikos. He's got a decent attribute range, pretty steady, finishing good, composure good, outstanding, bravery. And remember, he's probably going to play as a pressing forward, so his aggression needs to be good, and his work rate, all those boxes are ticked. Now, as far as his performance, he's been pretty good for a striker. He's getting a load of shots away per match. He's got a good non-penalty expected goal ratios. His assists are good, and I'm enjoying his pressures attempted. Scout Report likes him. I think he'll be a decent player to rotate with Raul Jimenez. Speaking of Scout Reports, that was the main driver for this signing of Pablo Maia from Brazilian football. He's going to be coming in from Santos. He's only played 18 matches. His statistics aren't outstanding, and this is where the combination of using attributes and data can come in handy, because his attributes for a defensive midfielder, specifically the anchorman role, are really good. Outstanding at marking and positioning, which is absolutely vital, is also elite. Now I do have a bid in for Shazgard. Shashgard. Remember, I'm looking for an inside forward for this position, one that can score, so his goals ratio is good. Data. There you see it. For an out-and-out goal scorer, he's pretty good. He's getting loads of shots away. He wins a ton of headers because he's a big lad. Whether he's playing as a striker or an attacking midfielder, he's going to score goals for us. So I've got a bid in for him. 15 million. We'll see if I can get that one over the line. So with those signings, that's potentially 2 slots of the 3 priority signings we've got covered. We still need another option for Mazzala, and I still would like an extra centre-back. Although that could be in-house with Calvin Bassey, who didn't get much of a game last season. When he did play, it was mostly at left-back, so maybe I don't. Especially when you look at his attributes. Heading 15, strength for days, jumping reach is good. Maybe the answer is actually at the club. As far as the Mazzala goes, I am going to take my time, but one of the scouts in North America did throw up Alan Rodriguez as an A star. Now, he can play as the inside forward, which is tempting, but he can also play central midfield as that Mazzala. I'm also actually considering a move for Harry Maguire, but at 6 million for a 31-year-old, his wages might rule us out of that. Back to the potential Mazzala. What is it I'm looking for from this Mazzala? Basically, I want a clone of Pereira, who has been fantastic this season. So what's made him so good in terms of his data? His expected assists are fantastic. He comes in with 12 assists. So somewhere in the range of 0.2 to 0.3 would be fantastic. And he's getting goals as well at 0.33. So those are the 2 things I'd probably look for in recommendations. I've got limited data on Alan Rodriguez so far, but his expected assists are in that range. So while my scouts are doing their magic, I thought I would have a look myself. Just looking for assists per 90 minutes at that ambitious 0.30, making sure they've played at least 1,000 minutes. And he's thrown up some interesting results. Edward Spetsean definitely deserves a closer look. If I look at him as an attacking midfielder, he's got expected assists at 0.32, but he does have a limited scout report, so I'm going to have a look at his attributes now. So to make sure this was still a challenge, I left attribute masking on, so I've just got a range, but as you can see from his range, some key things, such as his passing at 15, off the ball's good, dribbling's good, crossing's decent. He definitely deserves a further scout report. There are some other options that intrigue me as well, available for knockdown fees, including some players that I've never came across that definitely warrant further inspection. Deep into pre-season with signings still ongoing, I did notice our 5th place finish in the Premier League had actually given us a Champions League spot. There's an extra spot and we've got it, which meant increasing the size of this squad was now essential. And we got those moves over the line to help us out. Pablo Maya comes in from Sao Paulo for 13 million. Ioannidis from Panathinaikos for 14. Bertzian came in for 12. Miguel Beza for a bargain 3.6. And Jasgard for 15. It meant going into the new season, the first 11 probably will look something like that, but we've got so many good players now we can rotate all over the place. Despite last season's performance and our improved squad, they still reckon we're going to finish 12th this season. 350 to 1. The club vision hadn't changed, attacking football, possession football, high tempo pressing football, but Tony and Shad Khan seemed really happy going into season 2. And I think they were further pleased when I brought in 43 million for reserve right back Timothy Castagnet. And he was replaced by 2.3 million signing Del Preto, basically the perfect utility player to cover the right back slot. So 66 million spent, 39 million recouped, the squad's ready to go for this season. First game of the season was a 7-goal thriller against Villa. Debut goals for Ioannidis and Maya gave us a deserved win. But then Erling Haaland scored a double hat-trick as Man City beat us 7-2. Despite us having more shots, Bernd Leno had a nightmare. The tough start continued with a defeat by Liverpool, but we did get a good draw against Arsenal. At the midway point of the season, it's a lot tougher than last year as we sit 9th, but we do have a game in hand. However, the Champions League has gone pretty well for our debut season. We've only lost one game, that was away to Club Brugge, and currently we sat in 13th with 3 wins from our 6 matches. Ioannidis has started fantastic for us, he scored 14 times in 25 matches. And overall his striker performance has been exactly what I was looking for. Although some of the other new signings have struggled a bit, Bertzian in midfield hasn't looked great. However, Jasgard playing as an inside forward is exactly what I was looking for, getting me goals 9 in 25. It's a new country for Pablo, I'm slowly bedding him into the team, and as you can see he's starting to pay off. He doesn't lose the ball and he's winning the ball back well. It's a good performance from an anchorman. And Pereira continues to be fantastic. He's out injured at the minute, which is a massive blow. We're actually playing really well and the results haven't done us justice. A lot of the players have stepped up this season, so it appears we are somewhat victims of our own success. Those extra Champions League fixtures have thrown a spanner in the works a little bit. So our second half of the season in Season 2 was a bit of a disaster as we lost 5 Premier League games in a row. We did make it through to the Champions League knockouts where we played Monaco and it went all the way to a penalty shootout. Unfortunately, Brazilian youngster Pablo missed, and we went out on penalties. Following that, we did turn our fortunes around and finish the season really strongly. The only thing I changed was dropping the mentality back to just positive. And we got ourselves a very respectable 6th place finish, qualifying for Europe next season. Of the new signings, the star man was Fotis Ioannidis, who bagged 17 goals in the Prem, and our boy Maritz on the inside forward position, he bagged 11. It's going to be tough to hold on to him. And a really exciting debut season from Pablo Maya from Brazil. But we didn't hit it out of the park every time, some of them did struggle. But overall delighted with the progress we are making. Looking closer at some of the performances from the new boys, there's Pablo playing in the anchor position, who doesn't lose the ball but wins it back. And I'm not expecting a lot of pressures because he holds his position. A good season. And that, for an inside forward, is as good as you're going to see. Areas improvement, I think Smith Rowe could improve despite 13 assists on the left hand side. But both fullbacks stepped up this season, with Robinson now getting the assists that I wanted from him. The big drop off this season was goalkeeper Bernd Leno, who at 33, great on the ball but he wasn't doing his main job. In January I actually cashed in on even more players, bringing in 84 million in total. So that means for the new season I've got plenty to spend. And with all these recruitment focuses, there's going to be a big batch of players to try and improve this squad still further. So that's a 5th place finish and a 6th place finish. I think the Cans are reasonably happy, especially after achieving those 2 league positions by turning a profit. We've spent 73 million, but we brought in 88. For next season, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. I'm going to move Smith Rowe into a Mazzala position. He's been good, but not great out wide. So in that position, I'm going to go for a more traditional winger and move him to the creative midfield role. I've got the other positions that I know I want to improve in mind. So join me for part 2 as we see just how far we can push Fulham, using the unique combination of data analytics and traditional attributes.